know, what were your musical influences? Music that inspired you?
Gosh, I have so many. It's very hard to mention, but I did grow up listening to a lot of 80s music. Duran, Depeche Mode, Cyndi Lauper, Madonna, Prince, the list is endless. And then I'd say later in life, like more in the past 5 years, I've been quite influenced by artists like Billie Eilish and Labyrinth, The Weeknd, artists like that. My mom had me when she was quite young, so I was very inspired by the music she listened to. And yeah, that was, like I said, Prince and Madonna and stuff like that.
If you could be one musician or speak to one musician or be one musician, who would that be?
Oh, gosh, that is probably the toughest question I've ever been asked. There are so many. I think if I could speak to one musician, it would probably be the late Aaliyah. She died in
Okay.
20 2001, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
Okay.
that would be like a big opportunity. But also, um, she did so much in a short time on Earth. She only lived till 22. I've always loved her style and her elegance. So that would be one musician on my list I would have loved to have had a chat with.
Well, I was listening to some of your songs, but I was just very intrigued by Living to Die.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know what your motivation was behind it or what inspired that song.
I think it was sort of a combination of things for that track in particular. At the time when I wrote it, I was in the corporate world. So I was doing like a corporate job and I was actually in London on the tube. And I was looking around me and looking at so many people that looked quite unhappy with their life and what they were doing. And then I realized, you only get one shot at life and you really need to do things that bring you happiness and things that bring you joy. Um, and I just looked around and I thought to myself, this is not me. This is not what I should be doing. My first love is music. It's writing music, it's making music. I love shooting videos, I love visuals. I love the whole artistry side of things. And then I thought, it's time to actually pursue my dreams and what I'm really passionate about, and it will work out. So I just took a leap of faith, stopped the corporate thing, and just decided to do my music full time.
That's amazing. And it seems to be working out for you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it has its challenges.
Yeah.
There's so many artists, amazing artists out there that are doing the same thing. So there's a lot of competition, but I really do feel that if you're passionate about something you do, it shows and you don't really need to worry about the rest.
I think that's what I like about you because you can't when I watch your videos, see you and I think that's what's so nice is that you yourself and I think that's
Yeah.
how you make it is by being an original.
I'm so happy
Um
to hear that. I'm happy that
yeah.
that comes across because I'll be honest, I don't always have it all together. Sometimes I'm learning as I'm going. So it's nice when people say, you actually look like you're doing your thing.
I have to say I do love your Instagram, so I might be a little bit of a stalker as well.
Oh no, please go ahead. Like, comment, share, whatever. I'm all there.
Yeah. So what is next for you? What are you planning now? Or have you got what goals have you set for yourself?
So on the 9th of February, I'm releasing my sophomore album. It's been
Oh,
10 years since I made an album, so this is quite a big one for me. So until then, I'm just kicking off promotions. I've shot a few music videos that will be releasing very soon.
oh,
So yeah, the year
okay.
is looking really good.
How do you feel about the industry, the way it's changed with Spotify and iTunes?
You know what? I think with anything, it has its pros and its cons. Personally, I think it's really good because it's so much easier to get your music across to the world. You don't have to print physical copies and get it shipped overseas. People can literally just click on a button and listen to your stuff. On the other hand, I do miss that sentimental feeling you get when you buy an album and you look at it for the first time and you read it and read the lyrics in the book. So yeah, like I said, it's got its pros and cons.
Okay, so you said we. So that I was going to ask you for the singles out there because I think they're going to be a bit disappointed to find that there's a we. So you have a partner.
Uh,
Um,
yeah. I do have somebody special in my life. Yeah.
right, okay. Do you want to elaborate or not? You don't have to.
I'm actually a very shy person. And it's just you sort of have to put on a different hat and be a different person when it
Yes.
comes to these sort of things.
On your albums and your songs that you've written, what are like your favorites out of the songs you've created?
That's a good question. Um, I have so many favorites that I've written for many different reasons. Musically, I think one that always gets me is a track called Homesick, which
Okay.
a lot of people think the song is about a specific place, but it's not necessarily about that. It's about the time.
You made an impact on the wrong side of the right track. It's a slow burn and a heartache. Beautiful things always break. Sometimes I feel lost, chasing dreams that turn to nightmares.
So when I say I'm homesick, it's not, for example, South Africa or Durban. Not that I'm not homesick, because obviously I am, living in London, but it's more about a time in my life that you can never get back. So that song in particular is very sentimental.
I think Live to Die resonated with me.
Living to Die is up there with, some of my most favorite tracks, simply because of its messaging. And a lot of people, when I did the song, they were like, "This is lovely, but it might not be a radio single." And I was like, "I don't care. I'm shooting a music video for it. I'm gonna put it out there because I know that there are people out there that will listen to the
Resonate.
lyrics and feel what I was feeling when I wrote it." And I also think in the song, like if you listen to the song towards the end, there's a lot of progression and maybe aggression in my vocals came out the way it should. I don't always plan these things, sometimes you just go into the studio and you do your thing, and
Yeah.
sometimes you listen to the track and it's like, this all makes sense now. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but it just comes out like that.
As a listener, you can feel that, I
Yeah.
think there's something to be said about doing it the way you're doing it because you do reach people that way.
A long-time producer, Big T, that I worked with in South Africa, he always used to say that, you can record something and it can be technically perfect, but have no emotion behind it. And therefore, people won't resonate with it. Whereas sometimes your vocal take might be a little bit rough, but because it's raw emotion behind it, you can really hear it and people listen to that. And, it's all about the emotion at the end of the day.
Do you have a nickname?
I do have many nicknames. Gosh, I don't want to mention them all, but like friends, obviously my name is Nicholas, my full name, but friends
Okay.
started calling me Nicky, Nick, Nikolai, Nicolaj. My mom called me Pooh at one stage. Don't ask why, I don't know, but yeah, that was my nickname.
What's after Pooh Bear? Like Winnie the Pooh.
I think it was Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, I hope so.
So, and favorite places that you've been in the world?
I've been so fortunate recently to be traveling a lot more. So I recently went to Paris. I've done Iceland,
Mhm.
Greece. One of my favorite places though was Iceland, and that was mainly just because of the scenery. Not many people. It was just untouched beauty, very dramatic landscape. I loved it. Everything about it, except the cold.
Normally, this is a Durban question. Beach or mountain? Berg, beach or berg?
I'll definitely say beach for that one.
Yeah.
I can remember I've always been in water, outdoors in general, but more specifically water. And
Mm.
living in London, you do miss the beach. When it's a lovely sunny day, the majority of Londoners go to Brighton Beach. So we all hop
Uh,
on a train ride, which is, I would say, maybe 2 hours just to get there.
uh,
But yeah, I really do miss the beach.
Thank you so much for your time and
Okay, thank
taking the
you.
time.
Thank you for including me like on your blog and your websites and stuff. I really do appreciate it. And I love what you're doing, by the way.